everyone, it's me Roxanne, and I'm back today with a brand new video featuring the Singer Quantum Stylus 9960. I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for the warm welcome back. It's been a really long time since I did a video, and the reception I got was amazing. I appreciate that so much. So earlier this week, I also put out a poll and asked what type of videos you'd like to see from me in the future, and sewing techniques won.
So in this video, which is part 1, I'll be showing you what gathers are, and I'll be sharing my favorite gathering technique with you.
So let's get into it. So far, I've made 2 videos on gathering using 2 different presser feet. Last week, I showed how to use the gathering presser foot to create these beautiful gathers and gathering onto a gathered piece. And previously, I've showed how to use this ruffling attachment, which also is geared to creating lots of different even gathers, like these, and even these. But this time, I'm going to show you how to create gathers by using the presser feet that came with the Singer 9960. So if you missed either one of those videos, the one on the gathering presser foot or the one on the ruffle attachment, I'll be linking those down in the description box so you can check them out if you like. So here we go.
Here's some examples of gathering used in garments, like the yoke of this shirt, or the gathers of this pretty ruffled sleeve, or even in this skirt.
So if you're brand new to creating gathers or understanding what gathers are, they're nothing more than manipulating a larger piece of fabric down to the dimension size of a smaller piece of fabric. Here I am at the front LCD screen of the machine, and I'm going to show you how to set up my favorite gathering technique, which is for 2 rows of machine basting stitches. So first, press the button to edit your stitch length, and you want to lengthen your stitch all the way to 5.0. And then my little secret tip to help the bobbin thread move freely and not pop is to go into your upper thread tension and loosen your tension just a little bit down to 7. And that will allow your bobbin thread to pull very evenly and smoothly without popping. Just a little extra sewing tip that you might not have known. I'm using my regular poly cotton woven blend for my demo, and I have the regular presser foot, the general purpose foot A, on my machine. I've also marked the stitching line, which is where I always put my first basting stitch. Now when I come to the end, I won't use the auto cutter. I'll use the side cutter so that I have long enough tails to pull my basting stitches. Now I'm going to place one more row of stitching about 1/4 of an inch away from the first stitching. And I'll do the same thing again. Won't use the auto cutter. So there's my 2 machine basting stitches, and now I'll show you what to do next. At this point, I'll take my 2 top threads, which are the black threads, and I'll tie them off together. Just a little simple knot for a little secret that I'm going to show you later. And I tie off my 2 gray threads, which are my bobbin threads. Oop, that one's a little bit short. And I'll do that on both sides. Now I'd like you to also take a look at the underside where the bobbin thread is running, and you can see it's looser than a normal stitching line. So it's going to be very easy for me to take these two bobbin threads and just pull them to create my nice, neat little gathers. I've gone ahead and gathered this side of the fabric so you could see what it will look like. And now I'm going to show you what to do on this side of the fabric. One thing that's a little tip that I like to do is I like to mark the center of both of my pieces of fabric, the one to be gathered and the one to be gathered onto. I put a pin in the center and I put a pin on the other end. And then I'll take my gray threads, which are my bobbin threads, and I'll start to pull them in until I evenly disperse the gathers across my piece of fabric. Just like that. Pull a little bit more. Like that. Now remember I told you the black threads, which were my top threads, that I had a little secret tip to tell you? Well, next you'll take those threads and you'll give them a little tug on the end. And that will lock in your gathers so that they can't slide off the end where your pin is. Now my next sewing tip is that before I stitch it, I like to give my gathers a little bit of a press. And that holds them nice and neatly for when I go to stitch and finish off my seam allowance. So I'll finish giving them a couple more pins and then I'll show you where I stitch. Now I'm going to sew the seam, and my machine is set for a straight stitch, default stitch length, and I'm going to stitch right over the first basting stitch on the stitch line. I don't stitch over pins, so I take them out as I go. If you have to adjust your gathers a little bit, that's fine. Just to keep everything straight and neat. I used to sew over pins when I had old mechanical machines, but I never sew over them now with my electronic machines. They're more delicate, and breaking a needle is more catastrophic to these machines than to an older mechanical machine. It can throw off your timing, and that's a headache that none of us need. Remember, don't come to a complete stop before you want to backstitch, or it'll go in super slow mode, and we all find that annoying. And there is your gathered seam, nice and neat, even gathers all the way across. And you only see a little bit of my black thread, but if I had used a matching thread, You wouldn't see it at all, and you wouldn't even have to remove it.
Thank you for stopping by today and viewing my latest video, part 1, sharing what gathers are and sharing my favorite gathering technique. In part 2, I'll be sharing 2 more gathering techniques with you. So stay tuned.
So if you'd like to participate in a future poll, please subscribe to my channel and ring that bell. You will get notifications of my activity, and then you can participate and let me know what you'd like to see in a future video. So as always, have a happy creative day. Bye now.